Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Equinety Podcast. We are swinging into my home state out in Oklahoma. We've got Jennifer Johnson on the call this week. Jennifer, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. As always, we're excited to hear these stories, and I'm really excited about this one because we're going to be talking about two different horses. One is on the senior range, and as you've been dealing with Cushings and laminitic bouts of laminitis through the years. And then your other one is a 5-year-old. And so it's really interesting how in this particular one, we've got two different horses, two different ages on either end of the spectrum dealing with different issues. And we're talking about Equinety Horse XL and how it's helped each one of these horses. So let's start with the first one, the 20-year-old. And tell us how long you've had this horse and the things that you've been dealing with.
So I've had this particular horse for the past 12 years. I would say about 5 or 6 years ago, she started showing signs of laminitis. So that was kind of the start of the downhill slope with her. I put her on a daily medication for her Cushings that she was later diagnosed with. And just over the past few years, she's really begun to show her age. It takes her forever to shut off a winter coat. She even had a little bit of lameness, and just her overall demeanor seemed not very happy. So that's what I was dealing with before I found Equinety.
Mm-hmm. So, and some of the other things that you had told me that you noticed a bit of a sway back, just the difficulty in shedding out, which is pretty common with Cushing's horses. Anything else that you were kind of noticing there? How was the demeanor, the overall attitude and everything as you were going along here?
Yeah, as I was going along through these past few years, just her overall attitude, just very dull. Like her personality had disappeared. You could just tell that she was not the happy horse that she used to be. She wasn't eager to go out on trail rides like she used to be. So I knew that at that point something had to change. I had to do something more for her than what I was already doing.
Mm-hmm. So then tell us then how you came across the Equinety product.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Facebook, I kept seeing this product pop up on my news feed, and every time I saw it, I would see different comments on how much it has helped their horses with all of these different issues. Especially the Cushings. I have her on a daily medication, and it doesn't seem like it's helping her with her appearance. And I noticed on a lot of reviews that horses have really blossomed being put on this. So basically, that's why I wanted to put her on this, and also to see if it changed her attitude.
Yeah. And so how long have you been using the product now?
I would say about 5 to 6 weeks.
Okay. Which is not long at all, but what are some of the things that you've been noticing?
Her winter coat is coming off nicely, which the past few years has taken almost to the middle of summer to fully come off. I had her on a trail ride this weekend where we rode at least 25 miles, and her pep was amazing. She wanted to go, and she was happy. And it was really, really good to see that because, like I said, I've had her for 12 years.
Right.
And it was really good to see how she used to be come back. It was like she came back to life.
Yeah, I mean, 25 miles. Did you notice anything along the lines of stamina, recovery, anything along those lines as well that you normally hadn't seen?
Actually, yes. This was a 3-day trip. And usually after at least the first day of riding, I will see her get a little stiff, coming out of her pen. This weekend, I saw absolutely none of that. And it was a pretty long trailer ride home. And I was thinking after I get her off this trailer, she's going to be stiff. And she wasn't. I turned her out in the pasture and off she went. And she looked amazing. And she was not lame or stiff or anything.
Wow. And I'll say that's pretty common, and I'll get into why this product is working the way that it is. And again, for those who have Cushing's horses, one of the common questions that we get is it safe for Cushing's horses? Yes, it is. because it's 100% pure amino acids, the Equinety Horse XL. So amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So there's not any negative side effects to any medications, other supplements, feeds, anything like that, or any metabolic things going on. So that's a definite plus if you're dealing with similar scenarios here. So let's jump over and talk about the 5-year-old that you have. Tell us the history on this one. How long have you had this one, and what was going on?
Yeah, so this one was actually born at my place. And this winter, he did not look as good as he normally does. He had lost a lot of his Topline. He started just looking thin. His coat was extremely dull, and so was his personality. And for a 5-year-old, you don't expect to have them a very dull personality,
right?
Especially when working with them and stuff like that. So he also has very underrun heels with long toes, and I was looking for something that would help with the hoof growth so that we can get that toe back and get him looking better, because he does tend to stumble because of that. So I also saw reviews on Equinety on how it helps, just a horse blossom appearance-wise, and how it helps with their focusing, especially during training. So that's why I decided to put this particular horse on it as well.
Right. So how long has this one been on product now?
About 5 to 6 weeks, just like my other horse.
Okay. So with this particular one, the other end of the spectrum, we're going on the young side. So didn't winter well, lost some muscle, Topline, weight. The coat was kind of dull. And so over the 5 or 6 weeks you've been using product, what are the things that you've been noticing with him?
So I took a picture of him this winter, and I compared it to a picture that I took last week, and they look like completely different horses. He looks like he could go out and win a halter class right now. He has bulked out. His Topline is filled in. He looks amazing, and his focus is back. I can easily work with him without him just being so dull and just plodding around. He has energy and more stamina, and he looks amazing. I can't believe it.
Wow. And in this short amount of time, what have you also noticed with the hooves? Because you're dealing with low heels, which we get a lot of questions that come in. Will this help with that particular situation?
Mm-hmm. My farrier was out last Wednesday, and she did notice a difference in the hoof, the amount of hoof that was there that she normally didn't see before.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that's really going to help with getting his feet back to the shape that they should be.
Yeah, that's great. And that's one of the things that we tell people all the time. You could have the world's greatest farrier standing in front of your horse, but if there's nothing to work with, then everybody's kind of stuck. So one of the many benefits of this product is helping with a healthier, stronger, faster growing hoof, thicker sole. So it gives the farrier more to work with in a shorter amount of time. So now, if this is the first time you're tuning in to the Equinety Podcast, or maybe it's the first time that you are learning about this product, one of the questions commonly asked is, how can this one product do so many different things? And again, in this example, we're talking about two different horses. One's 5 years old, one's 20 years old, and a 20-year-old has Cushings, Laminitis issues, was depressed over the last couple of years, probably due to the things going on. And then we've got the 5-year-old that didn't winter well, lost a lot of Topline, weight loss, coat was dull, and also had low heels, so the hooves weren't that great. And the spirit of the horse wasn't there either. So how can this one little product, which a serving size is 5.2 grams, which is equivalent to about a rounded teaspoon, so you just put that in their feed. What this product is actually doing is it is specifically formulated to give the body what it needs to release the necessary hormones that help the body repair at a cellular level. So when we can give the body what it needs to release its own hormones, then it's that horse that's sending its own hormones to the problem areas. So in the Cushings horse, for example, you didn't see the bulking out and Topline and everything because the horse didn't need that aspect. It needed other help. So one of the examples that I give as well, you could have 50 horses with 50 different issues going on. And again, because we're giving the body what it needs to release its own hormones, then it's that horse that's, again, sending the hormones to the problem areas. So in essence, it's customizing to each horse, which is really, really interesting and unique from anything that's out on the market. So we're definitely blessed in that way. So what plans do you have for your 5-year-old moving forward?
So we just mainly trail ride, and we just want him to be a good trail horse. That is our goal for him, is to be a good, safe family horse.
Yeah, that's great. So for anybody tuning in that is, again, listening to this, that might be a little bit on the fence, that might think, hey, this sounds a little too good to be true, other than what you've already talked about, is there anything that you could say to that person that might prompt them to go ahead and give the product a try for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. I have used all kinds of different supplements over the years, and the number of supplements that are out on the market to address different issues is completely overwhelming. The fact that this product addresses so many different issues and it's personalized based on the horse's needs, that kind of takes away the overwhelmingness. And because I know that this product is addressing the issues that need to be addressed and is not anything more. I like the fact that there's no fillers in this.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that you feed such a small amount. My 20-year-old is very picky about anything that's added to her feed. And she licks this right up. There's no problem with feeding this to her. And that's a problem I've dealt with over the years, trying to get her to eat different supplements.
Right. Yeah. No, that is great. It definitely makes it simple when you can give everybody the same thing, and it's customizing to their particular needs. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jennifer Johnson out of Oklahoma, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story here on the Equinety Podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horse's supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.